Sorry we got interrupted by that call. I needed to talk to Scott. Seems like we have another possible mandate coming through. So we're going to need to get this done pretty quickly. Hopefully you were able to get that segmented data done. Let's take a quick look just to go through it. Now, as you can see, I have a second tombstone slide right here that I created. You may have one in your presentation as well. Let's just click on that, hit the delete key, and then head over to Excel and get things done for the segmented data. So obviously here in Excel, you are able to locate the segmented data on the Segments tab. Now, these stacked column charts are not that hard to create natively, but with Macabacus, if we create them, we get a few more options that can be really valuable. Now with Macabacus, there's really two ways to create a stacked column chart. You may have noticed that up here, if you click on the library and over on the right, we have sample charts, and we can hover over here and see a stacked column chart this way. But if we close down the library and look at a second way to create these, we'll get more options. Now the chart that we're looking at here was actually created up here using charts, quick charts, which you may remember. If we were to click on here, stacked column chart, we get this dialog box. Remember, the key to using these is really leveraging the example button right here, which brings in sample data and structures your data properly for you. Let's close out of this and take a look at this chart. So the advantage to inserting these using quick charts is we get all of these options up at the top, which can be really, really helpful from a design perspective. Now let's focus on the formatting of this chart just for one moment. Remember back to our other courses. When we talk about formatting and redundancy, if you can remove something, you should. So our graph down here and our stacked columns already show column totals across the top. So we don't need the y-axis. Let's just click on that element and hit the delete key. And in fact, we don't even need these grid lines. Let's also click on those and delete those as well. Perfect. Now, another thing that we may notice in terms of formatting on this chart is the plot order is not optimal. For instance, if we look at the most recent period here, it would be better if we had the largest contributor down at the bottom, because then we could visually line these up along the bottom edge and we could see what was really contributing to the growth of this company. Now, obviously, we can change the plot order natively. We just right-click on the chart, go down to select data, but it's tricky. If we get this dialog box, the first thing that we notice is that the order here is reversed from the order that we see there. Then we need to figure out which one is the largest contributor and figure out over here with these arrows if we're moving it up or down. It can be really time consuming, and it's also not dynamic. Let's look at what Macabacus has to offer. So with Macabacus, let's go down here and click on the chart, just like that. And then we go up here to charts, and let's click Smart Plot Order, just like that. And instantly everything is rearranged perfectly. Now it's great that we're showing the growth visually, but we should probably quantify it. As you may have noticed over here, we have a placeholder for the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate. If we could just select these 5 cells right here, we're going to put CAGR formulas into them really fast. So with those 5 cells selected, we can go right up here under Formulas, and down near the bottom, let's click on Quick CAGR. Instantly, Macabacus senses that we want to put the CAGR referencing the cells to the left. Let's click OK, and it just keeps indexing all the way down through these 5 cells, and we're all done. So that was really fast, and it was helpful. If we look in these cells and tap F2, we may easily forget how to actually calculate the CAGR, or we may forget which functions we're supposed to use. Macabacus is taking care of that really quickly. Now it's great that we're quantifying the growth over here on the side, but what we need to do is try to get it into that stacked column chart and then over to that PowerPoint presentation so we can present it to our clients. Let's figure that one out in the next video. Now, as we mentioned, we've quantified the growth over on the Excel file, but we need to try to get it now into that chart and then over across into PowerPoint so we can present it to the client. Let's dive in. So if you wouldn't mind doing this, let's click here to get the chart selected just like that and go up here to Charts. And then we want to go down to Chart Add-ons and we want to look at a growth arrow. Let's click Growth Arrow and this dialog box comes up right here. So right at the top, we can see that we have the option for annual, quarterly, or monthly. Let's leave it on annual. And right here is where we're going to select the actual cell where we have the CAGR. So let's select here, 14.5% and click OK. Perfect. Now what we're going to do here is select our color. Let's go with this dark orange color that we've been using. And down here for the shape, let's go with a rounded rectangle. That might look really great. For the format, we're going to check bold. We've got border, match line color as well. Amazing. Now down below, one option is let's click here to make this dynamic. Select the cell where we want to insert the chart data. Well, let's select this cell just below right here. Click OK, and we have dynamic. Now we can start moving this around a little bit just to see what things are going to look like. Let's put the height a little bit higher, maybe bring that down. We want it to look just right, just like that. That looks amazing. Let's click the OK button, and we're all set. So this is great. Let's go over here to these cells that were inserted and do a quick little cleanup. Let's select all of them like this, Control-Shift-K, and we can cycle through fill colors to get to a really nice gray. Now let's hit Control-Shift-7 twice, and you can see that what we've done is put a nice border around the outside. Might be nice to switch that border color with the border color cycle. Let's just select these cells like this and hit Control-Alt-Shift single quote once, and those are blue borders now. Amazing. Now it's really nice that we have dynamic control over all the positioning because we can see here how this arrow is just overlapping that column total a little bit. So let's go over here to these cells. For the offset, let's put in 6 and the height 6, and that's corrected everything really nicely. Just scanning for possible redundancies again. Remember, if we can remove something, we should. We have the growth appearing here in the legend. We don't really need that. Let's just click on that particular item and hit the delete key, just like that. And we need to get our guide set up to do a proper export. Let's pop over to PowerPoint. We'll see you there. Now we're over here in the main PowerPoint presentation. And remember, we want to put the segmented data right here between stock chart and the project updates. So we've got this vertical indication right here, up to Macabacus here, across the slides, content slide. Now this dialog box comes up. I think this one would be nice right here. Single tile. Let's click Insert, close out of this dialog box. Now we can go into this slide and we want to click on the placeholder just like that. Now let's pop over to Excel and get the guide inserted. We'll see you there. So for Excel, we definitely want to export the cells right here. So we're going to start right in this cell, which is C13, and then up here to Guides and click on PowerPoint Selection, just like that. Now if we use the Shift key and highlight across and down, this actually looks like it's fairly well lined up. But remember, if it wasn't, we could toggle on those grid lines and then use the Alt key to snap this to the grid. Let's do an Export Match None, which is Control-Alt right arrow, just like this. And we're back to PowerPoint. So we're going to drop a nice title and subtitle here in one moment, but we can see the little red lines coming through from the guide. Would you mind, could you just pop over back into Excel and clear that guide out for us so that we can just do a refresh here? That'd be great. We'll see you in a minute. As you can see, we've put some nice titles in place here. And thanks for going back to Excel and deleting out that guide. I'm just going to click on this exhibit here and do a refresh just to bring that refresh through. Perfect. Now we obviously want this subtitle here to be dynamic. Let's go over here and delete this out. Let's put in an extra space and just leave the cursor right there and head over to Excel. So we're back over in Excel. Actually, one thing that we noticed, if we click on the chart here, we could just insert the plot area a little bit over like that to make better use of the space. Now let's leave our cursor right here, 14.5%, and we're going to go up here and we're going to export Excel text, and we're back over to PowerPoint. Now that we're back in PowerPoint, let's just click this image just to bring that last little change through, just like this, and we should see things move over. Perfect. So this is great. We've been able to go through this slide and get everything all tidied up. And we also added a dynamic growth arrow, which I think Scott is really going to like. The great thing about everything that we were able to create here in Excel is that behind the scenes, Macabacus did it using native Excel functionality. Why that's important for us is if the client asks for that underlying Excel file, we can send it over to them, no problem, knowing that everything will work even if they're not running a copy of Macabacus. So let's jump ahead now and get a couple more things done in this presentation. I know that Scott may have another mandate for us, which means we'll need to get this deck finished up and move on to another one. We'll see you there.